Hi, Ellingles here. I think we are live. Good morning. It's Friday. I remember when my father, gosh, he must have been in his late 30s, early 40s, and he was pre-diabetic. His physician told him that he needed to not work on weekends, slow down, take time off, follow a certain exercise regimen, eat these certain foods, and reduce his stress. And he rarely worked on the weekend. Sometimes he'd go into the bank, but it was very casual and easy. He was a banker. He every night he never worked. He always just played with us and relaxed. And so it was kind of like have your stressful day and then relax. That's the pattern that I saw growing up. And I thought that's what you do. That's how you take good care of yourself. You have your stressful day, you do your work, and then chill out. Calgon, take me away. For those of you who remember the bath beads, right? Um, and as I delved into my work back in 2010 to really understand what is the cause of the symptoms of stress, like what's going on in here, I quickly came to understand that you don't need to slow down or take time off. You don't need to do that. Those are complete fallacies about how stress works. And the other advice people get is to take time in meditation, do an hour yoga class, certain things that a lot of my clients, especially those who are really high achieving, have very high level positions, they do put in a lot of hours. Like I don't have extra hours in the day to do that. That will take away from my time with my family. So time becomes this real stressor when they're told to add things into their days. So so back to a real understanding of what is stress, right? So I define stress differently than stressor. So most of the time when people say you need to reduce your stress, we immediately think, oh no, I've got to like I can't do this job anymore, or I got to get out of this house, or like this, what is the stressor? So stressors, challenges, pressures, those are the things we're encountering. Those are the stimuli that are then causing the stress response. The stress response is the real deal. So if we, for whatever reason, overreact, trigger this stress response, when that happens, then we're getting all the symptoms that the physician or family member or mental health professional says you need to slow down. Like you have way, way too much happening in here. You could be having heart issues, heart disease, gut disease, so colitis or things going on there. Could have skin issues, whatever the thing is that is presenting. Those are the side effects of the stress hormones. So I kind of let's get down to the root cause. The root cause is the release of these stress hormones, right? It's triggering the stress response. So how can we prevent that? If you slow down, and you don't really care about work or whatever it is you do for a living, and you're like, you know, who cares if I miss a few days? Um, you probably will get into more of a state where you're triggering less. But for a lot of my clients, if they take time off, they're worrying about what's happening, especially if they own their own business, if they're entrepreneurs, if they're leading corporations or on the leadership team or leading any aspect of a corporation. Um, you come back from vacation and you're just under the cosh. You got so much you've got to deal with when you get back. And so it's very hard while you're even on vacation to get in that state where you're not thinking about all those things. So sometimes taking time off or slowing down actually causes more anxiety. And it's the feeling of anxiety that is causing the release of the stress hormones. It's the stimulus is here. It's how we feel about it. It's how we're taking it in. Is this making sense? So it's not necessarily the stressor, it's how we're reacting to it. You'll hear that quite a bit from people, but let's take it the next step, which is how do we stop the reaction? Many of the reactions are subconscious. When I'm first working with a client, we're working with the ones that are easy to notice. The things, the stressors that are easy to notice, the feelings that are easy to notice, the tensions. And then we go deeper. We go deeper into subconscious programming, these things that have been causing you to trigger the stress response over and over and over again. And maybe you're not even aware of it. So but noticing is the first step. And that's what I want to concentrate on for you today. It's like, what are you noticing? I have a new client who is just noticing so much. And sometimes it's a little overwhelming because it's like, wow, it triggers the stress response over this and this and this and this. But noticing is really the first step. And so, a couple words that I share actually when we're starting out is to be gentle with yourself, to have grace for yourself and for others too, because you'll start to notice other people overreacting to things. They're like, wow, they don't need to overreact to that. But everybody's on their own journey and on their own path. So we concentrate on us. And also making sure that when other people are experiencing emotions, or complaining, um, or that like they could be the stimulus, right? That are causing us to trigger the stress response. I was coaching at a large conference once, and one of my clients, she's 13, and her mother, who was also my client, they were in the front row of this conference, and they were sponsors of it. They were really big in this particular conference. And when I asked the audience, I don't know, about 100 people, 70 people in there, um, what they what might be a possible trigger for them. The 13-year-old stood up, turned to the whole audience, many of whom she knew, and she said, my whole family triggers me. So sometimes it's the very people who love us the most who are causing us to trigger the stress response. And in that case, it's really taking a look and saying, okay, why am I overreacting to this thing? How can I prevent overreacting to this tone of voice or thing they're doing? They're telling me to hurry up, whatever the thing is. Um, and so the key and the key to pressure-free living, the reason I call it pressure-free living is no matter what pressures or stressors come your way, you can stay free of the stress response. So we do that in this little 10-second window when you first encounter the stimulus. That's why noticing is so important. So you're starting to notice, wow, when so and so says this, that just makes me furious. Whatever the emotion is like, okay, I'm starting to feel that furious feeling. I've got 10 seconds. I have 10 seconds to relax my belly, open wide, let my shoulders relax, get this all nice and calm so that I don't release these hormones. And now, whatever has been said, I get to choose my response because I've kept the lights on here. One of the things that happens when we go into fight or flight is we shut down our cortex and hippocampus. We're not thinking cognitively. We're in our reactive brain. We're in our, some people call it the monkey brain, the croc brain. We're in that brain that all of us animals have to protect us from a threat. But this person's just saying something that's not a physical attack on us, which is why we have this stress response to protect us from a true physical threat. So in that 10-second window, you can just begin to ask yourself that question, what can I do to prevent the stress response? How can I stay calmer here? How can I stay confident here? Asking a question that moves you toward your solution, I call that an empowering question, like right in that 10-second window. It's such a powerful trigger, especially if you're very cerebral. If you're a big thinker, a lot of my clients are extremely brilliant and they have really big brains. And I would venture to say that every human is brilliant. Every human has brilliant capacity. But if we're constantly triggering the stress response, we're constantly in that reactive brain, we can't share our brilliance. We can't bring out our gifts and talents the way that we could if we weren't constantly stressed. So, to recap, if someone has told you or someone tells someone that you love, you need to slow down, you need to take time off, you need to exercise, eat better, and have less stress. Reduce your stress is a phrase often used. Um, and they're like, well, how do I do that? I can't quit this job. I need to put food on the table for my family, or this is my career. I love my job. Like I can't slow that down. I can't stop that. Or maybe you run your own business, you simply can't. You feel that you can't. Um, all of that is a fallacy anyway. It's a fallacy. You don't have to slow down. You don't have to take time off. You don't have to insert more things that take up time, like hours of yoga and meditation. Those are all wonderful things, and you can do them because you want to do them versus have to do them. You can take time off and take a vacation because you want to, not because you have to, because you're so stressed. The key is noticing what's causing you to any sort of tension and using that 10-second window to interrupt the stress response and not release stress hormones. That is the key. And, in my course, I teach over 50 ways. It's constantly growing because my clients will have some sort of dilemma or something going on, and I just open my brain up to think, okay, what could be the interrupter for them in this situation? I work with people who have panic attacks, heart issues, gut issues, all sorts of mental situations like ADHD, GAD, PTSD, anything that is chronic, either mentally or physically, has a root in the stress hormones, either causing it or exacerbating it, making it worse. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I have some real miraculous stuff happening with a couple clients right now. It's just like they had no idea this could happen for them. They came to me for one thing, but now all sorts of things are opening up, which is just lights me up because that's what this is all about. So I wish you a great pressure-free day, and I will see you tomorrow.